Well, a very good evening to you from wherever you're watching us from. This is Herman Manyora's channel, and this is the Candid Talk. Now, welcome. My name is Evan Sokenyi. Well, I'm joined by the one and only Professor Herman Manyora, one of the top political commentators and analysts that we have in the country. Prof, how are you?
Wonderful.
How has your day been?
Oh, good.
I came around and I didn't see you. Where have you been all along?
No, I've been moving up and down.
Yes.
Yes, building the nation.
Building the nation.
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Prof, for making time to attend to this show. Well, a number of things have been taking place in the country with regards to the elections and how things are taking place and taking shape in the country, the politicians moving here and there. And I would like us to focus on the state of the race. But then today, I want us to focus on the youth vote. The youth vote, because a number of things are taking place, and seemingly, even though or in as much as these people are campaigning, definitely they cannot avoid the youth vote, because it will also count at the end of the day.
Yes.
But there is something that is quite astonishing if you look at the statistics of the elections that took place in 2017
Yes.
as compared to the elections of 2022.
Yes.
Based on the report that was released by KPMG,
Yes.
the company that actually did the audit report of the voter register,
Yeah.
we realized that the number of youth, actually, if you compare it to the number of the adults, that is the age between 18 to 35, you get that there was a decrease in the number of youths who actually registered for elections this time round. And you get to realize that if you look at that report, it clearly tells you that the number of young people who are going to participate or who are eligible to participate in this election is around 39.84%
Yes.
of the total voters, total registered voters that we have. What do you think could be leading to this?
Well, you know, the projection had been that the 2022 register will be expanded by 6 million votes. And these 6 million votes was mainly to come from the youthful people who had freshly acquired IDs in between the last election and this election.
Yes.
Unfortunately, instead of 6 million, we got just about 2.5 million. So that then reflects on the register and therefore contrary to expectation.
Yes.
Because you see, the country is becoming youthful by the day. Every year, the population becomes more youthful, which is a characteristic of the African demographic.
Yes.
Which is different from the rest of the world, which is the complete reverse.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the world is having aged population.
Yes.
Africa, we are youth. So we were just expecting that because the youth were going to pour into that register, but they didn't register. That's basically the reason.
Yeah, definitely. We saw a number of factors taking place, and even during that voter registration period, a number of leaders came out to actually urge the young people to go out there to register as voters, and even some of the governors went as far as giving their workers, the county workers, holidays to go and actually urge the young voters to go there and ensure that they get registered.
Yes.
But then still, despite all that effort, and even the IBC had to extend its period for the voter registration to ensure that more youths were brought on board. But still, they did not actually realize the number that they wanted. Could we be staring at something to do with voter apathy?
This is part of it. Voter apathy is a big part of it.
Yes.
Which means the people are becoming less and less interested.
Yes.
In fact, if you were to go on the same trajectory, instead of the voter register expanding, it will begin to decrease.
Mm-hmm.
Apathy could depress the voter register and the voting itself. Partly because there's so much suffering around, so much pain in terms of the economy is doing badly, unemployment and poverty levels. So people are wondering, so what's the point of politicians? Again, when people engage in electoral malpractices, cheating and rigging, and this is affirmed by no less than the Supreme Court for the presidential vote, and by the number of petitions in the lower courts, that has a bearing on what people begin to see. That why should I go and vote? Then people will just mess the elections. So those two factors could be contributing to apathy. But apathy is just one of the things why the guys didn't register.
Yes.
There are other reasons. For example, what approach was IBC using to reach the youth? You know, this is not the time when everybody was interested in elections. You just put it there and everybody is queuing to register.
Yes.
Young people are saying, what is it? This is a useless thing. What is there?
So are you trying to say that the IBC did not do enough to convince the
Correct,
youth?
correct.
To
The
actually-
strategy.
Yes.
They are using the strategy they have used over years. But now they have a youthful population. You are targeting 6 million of young people, mostly young people. And you approach them the way you approach their grandfathers. How do you expect them to listen to you? You must change tact.
So could the IBC have gotten this wrong from the very
Yeah,
beginning?
of course, of course.
Now, Prof, definitely this is something that we cannot just let go that way. By a number of youth failing to take part in elections, what could this mean for them? Does it mean that they are locking themselves out of the decision-making table by refusing to vote?
You know, when people see politics just being nothing, doesn't matter, doesn't change their life, those are the natural consequences. People don't see, but then it is fatalistic, because to shrug your shoulders and or put your hands in the air and it's not the way to solve a problem. You must confront a problem. The youth of this country must know this is their country. It doesn't belong to people like me. The people who have messed this country are people like us, people my age. And therefore, young people cannot leave this country, the same people, and expect the same people to change what they have messed. So it is fatalistic for young people to give up, to surrender, to be cynical. No, that's not what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to take care of their country. Make sure they play an integral and central role in these elections and any other future elections. Not to do so is suicidal, actually.
But Prof, we are dealing with a youthful population that is dissented by economic hardships and the widespread corruption that we are witnessing in the country. How can this be reversed?
You know, whatever ill you find in society, be it corruption, be it unemployment, be it whatever it is, somebody must do something about it. It can't just take a walk. And my argument is the person to do something about corruption is that young man who has refused to register as a voter. Is that young man with a vote who is saying, I will not vote because jalipo kitu na mtu. That vote is the one that will change and ensure that corruption is brought to its knees. Right now, they have a choice between Raila and Ruto. It is up to young people to see, because at the core of our problems is corruption. Between this set of Raila and Mother Karua, Ruto and Gachagua, who can I trust can deal with the corruption? Because then, unless you deal with the corruption in this country, everything else is a waste of time. In his story, as Ruto would put it.
Okay, now let's now focus on the 39.84% that we are having right now. Definitely, we have the 4 presidential candidates who've already been cleared by the IBC and whose names have already been gazetted. But we also have the 2 horses, as people have labeled it, the two-horse race, as Raila, Odinga, and William Ruto. Now, definitely, all of them are going to struggle to make sure that they at least bag a percentage of the youthful votes. Now, according to you, based on the manifestos that these people have actually given us out there and their agenda for the youth, definitely during the, you can remember during the launching of the Azimio manifesto, Raila has put across a number of issues that he has with regards to the youth agenda. The same thing happened with Kenya Kwanza, led by William Ruto. So based on your view of these manifestos, which group do you think has got the best agenda for the youth?
I don't place much capital or premium on the manifesto. I don't think anybody is going to win this election on the basis of the manifesto. not from youth, not from anybody. So I'm unable to say that so-and-so will get the youth vote because the manifesto focuses a lot on it. Or even looking at the manifesto. Look, these things are all the same. Now, nobody has said anything new. They are saying the same things. So to me, if you ask me, this election boils down to one thing. Between Ruto and Raila, who can you trust to change the country? It's not about the manifesto. Manifesto, they are talking about the same things. Yeah, there's no difference.
Now, since Ruto came up with the hustler narrative,
Yes.
it seemed as if it was a wave that swept across the youth wing.
Yes.
Could that also influence? Because there's a point at which people could argue that the entire youthful population is going to vote in for Ruto, especially from central Kenya. Before actually George Jakoya came in with his marijuana idea, and of which people are also saying that most of the youth may also vote go along that line of Jakoya. So I wonder, what's your take on this?
You know, it is true that Ruto is campaigning on a platform of defiance, on a platform of rebellion. And this kind of thing appeals most to the youth. So when he came up with the hustler narrative, which to me was a bubble, and it did burst, as indeed all bubbles do, he has had a fair share of youth, more than Raila Odinga, more than the others. Granted, when Jakoya came on board with his exciting ideas, some of them very repulsive, I would say, he has had a share of the youthful vote. Now, two things must be known. One is that we do not know whether this support for Jakoya will go all the way to the ballot.
Yes.
This excitement could just be entertainment. Number two is that a lot of the young people you see anywhere, not even at national level of Uhuru and Ruto and Raila, even at MCA level, constituency level, out of those young people you see with reflector jackets and so on and so forth, a number of them don't have votes. Very good chunk of them. And you can see the 6 million, we could only net 2 million or so. Secondly, those even those who have votes, they rarely vote. So the people who have campaigned in the past will always tell you, in a constituency, target the elderly generation, the old people, specifically the women. It's a sure bet. So these youth, and a chunk of them are with Ruto, much more than Raila. But then the question is, do they have votes? Are they registered? And those who are registered, will they turn out in good numbers? And the final, which seems to be the elephant in the room, would be, would they vote for Jakoya? And if they did, who will be injured most between Raila and Ruto?
Yes.
Yes.
So who would actually, now, based on that, if at all the youth decide to rally behind Jakoya with all those his actually fascinating ideas,
Yes.
who would this hurt between Raila and Ruto?
Naturally, and basically on the face of it, if a majority of youth are with Ruto and Jakoya is targeting that constituency, then naturally one would expect is Ruto who will be injured most. If Jakoya, let's just say he gets 1 million votes. I'm inclined to think he can't get anywhere near that. But he could get, let's say, 1 million votes. I will not spend a lot of time thinking. I'll just tell you straight away, out of the 1 million, 600 to 700 would have been votes that would have been Ruto's. And with the 300. So about 60% to 70% of what Jakoya would get will be Ruto's vote. Yes.
Now, well, I believe already the registration period is over, and we are actually dealing with the number of youth that have actually registered and who are eligible to participate in the August general elections,
Yes.
be it as low as it is. So no matter how low this number is, but then we are still waiting to see how this number will actually play in the August general elections. Finally, Prof, what's your word to every youth who is there, who is an eligible voter outside?
What I'll tell young people is that this is their country. They are the future, and every country is about its future. They should not throw hands in the air, however bad things are, however gloomy the picture is, however terrible the situation looks. It is them who must confront that situation. They cannot leave this to the people who have messed this country. It is their fathers, it is their mothers, it is their grandparents who have messed this country and brought this country where it is, on its knees. It is them to rise up, to stand up for country.
Well, thank you so much, Prof. Well, each and every young person, wherever you are, those are the wise words that have been said by Professor Herman Manyora himself right here on the Candid Talk. Definitely, we are appealing to every youth outside there that for those, all of you who are eligible voters, please kindly turn out on August of this year so that you may elect in good leaders, because at the end of the day, we as the youth, we matter, because we cannot be kept out of the decision-making table. Because definitely, if they fail, and Prof, you'll agree with me on this, if they fail to vote, definitely they'll be giving in room to bad leaders to come on board.
If you don't vote in good leaders,
yes,
you are essentially saying, if you don't vote in good leaders, you are actually saying, let bad leaders take over. And the choice is very simple. It is so simple. This country belongs to young people. They can choose to go the path their parents went, and they brought this country where it is. Or they can choose to chart a new path for the country, a new trajectory, to make this country join the league of nations that have prosperity for their people. Yeah.
Well, allow me to stop at that point, but please don't fail to subscribe to our channel so that you may be able to receive all these episodes of the Candid Talk, as we'll be unveiling them to you. Thank you so much for now. My name is Evans Okinyi.